Alaikum salam. What's good, everyone? Oh, wait. Oh, I see. Been doing well. Thanks for asking. Hello, Shannon. Says you're playing Tekken 7. Oof, thanks for letting me know. Let me change that. Okay. There we go. Tack.
Devil Jin.
Only thing I need to find out is whether I'm gonna do everything on the fly or if I'm just gonna go over everything afterwards, but we'll see. I'll try to give some of my thought processes while playing though. I think that might be interesting.
Round one. Fight.
What's the mood for this Ramadan, bro? I need Ramadan to come as fast as possible, bro. Thanks for the sub, bro. Appreciate it. Really do.
Round two. Fight. Round three. Fight. Round four. Fight.
Where did you get this mod? It's made by Umin. He's a more known modder. You should find him right away if you search him up on Twitter or YouTube.
Round one. Fight.
That's beautiful.
Round 2. Fight. Round 3.
Ja, die
Fight.
Replays haben mir spontan hinzugefügt, weil er es wollte. Normalerweise mache ich das nicht. Es wird eine längere Coaching-Session heute.
Round 4. Fight.
Hello, Kick. I think this is a good stream for you, in case you want to learn something. Hello, Sabi. Let me write down some more.
Round 1. Fight.
There we go. Hello, Laziak. Hello, Stockbar.
Round 2. Fight.
Oh. And this is unfortunate. I haven't had any of these crashes in almost a month, and now they're back. Well, I hope it was a one-time only thing at least. Hit the router just in case. Bro, it's not the router. I will just have to get a whole ass new LAN cable that is suitable for the outside. But it's fine, you just keep going. Gonna need like 15 meters and needs to be weather resistant. Do you think about Western free usage in combos? No, I think online it's fine to use as well, depending on the connections. Like, If your muscle memory is good enough, you can even hit those in like 150 plus MS. I left the Devilgen Discord after Fanta left as well. He was pretty much the only one I still knew from the older days, and after he left, there was not much reason for me to stay.
Get ready for the next battle.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to order something new.
Fight.
Yes. I just hope it doesn't crash again.
Round 2.
That's all I need.
Fight.
Oh yeah, I need to side roll. It is a mod, yes.
Round 3. Fight.
Oh, I didn't have range.
Round 4. Fight.
Okay, yeah, he's playing in different sequences. Sequence gaming. Like, there was this one instance. I think I'm gonna start talking about everything now. There was this one instance where after down 3 he would punish my, I think, back for 2 check with electric, and I was like, okay, damn, that was really good. But then he did the same thing, like, dialed. So after down 3, all I had to do really was wait for the sequence to come out and then launch him for it. That's what you call beating a flowchart. And if your offense only consists of sequences like that, chances are against pro players you're gonna get beaten up pretty badly, especially in longer sets. So you want to avoid these kinds of sequences that are easy to read. I can post it on my server, maybe.
Fight. Fight. Round 4. Fight.
Yeah, I'll mainly do coaching for today. Unfortunate, that's not guaranteed.
Final round. Fight.
Oh. Nice.
Round 1. Fight.
Alaikum salam.
Round 2. Fight.
Let's see.
Round 3. Fight. Round 4.
Ja, ich spiele Controller.
Fight.
It's really insistent on doing sidestep electrics. Alaikum salam. Hello, cat. I need to write this down as well real quick. Give me a second. Just go over everything after the first to 10. I'm still writing things down.
Round one. Fight.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Round two. Fight.
Need to think about this wake up game as well.
Round three. Fight.
That looked funny.
Four. Fight. Final round. Fight.
I think it's 5-1.
Round one.
Already got a lot of notes down, so this is pretty good. But I'll talk about everything after the set. I prefer it that way for this one. Hello, art anime.
Round 2. Fight.
Oh no. I wasn't sure if that was gonna reach.
Round 3. Fight.
There's not much reason to use back fort 1+2 anymore. It's very niche.
Round 4. Fight.
I need to use something else to punish that one with. Case in point. Hallo, es geht. The main topic of this day's coaching session will be bad habits
Round 1.
and how we can get rid of them. Yes.
Round 2. Fight.
Well, that's unfortunate for him. Hello, Kaneki. Thank you, thank you.
Fight.
Should have stayed stuck. I had a read, but I didn't believe in it.
Time up.
No, I am Turkish by nationality. I was just born and raised in Germany.
Round one. Fight.
Malatya.
Round two. Fight.
Oh, I was too late. No, I should not have jabbed. It's a very obvious full pull charge.
Round three. Fight. Round four. Fight.
Feel free to guess my age. I guess rolling to the right beats it. I never quite realized. Oops. Oh wow, it reached. Look at the range on that.
Round. Fight.
Hello, Flopper.
Round one. Fight.
weird sequence.
Oh. Round 2. Fight.
I thought I blocked that, so I didn't with punish. Oops. Nice.
Round 3. Fight.
How was I just over my back foot too there? Oh my chest, dude. Yeah, it feels like he doesn't know another way of opening people up. That's why I'm just letting him do. I think you may have noticed I'm not using any streaks at all here, because I really need to see how this guy plays the neutral out when his opponent just tries to play his game. I'm not sure if I'll play Tekken 7 today. Let's focus on the coaching session first.
Round 1. Fight. Round 2. Fight. Round 3. Fight.
Okay, was that 10. Whatever, let's just finish this.
Round 1. Fight.
I mean, the important part is gonna be after the set, because I usually do the actual coaching part afterwards. So it may have been boring up till now, but look forward to everything after.
Round 2. Fight. Round 3. Fight.
Oh, I was late. Oh, I had his timing, but I was a bit too slow. Up for one incoming. Just do it, dude. Oh wow, that reached. Not always, Muras.
Round 1. Fight.
I'll talk about exactly that topic after the set. Look forward to it. The entirety of this coaching session will be about bad habits, because that's what's holding him back mostly.
Round 2. Fight. Round 3. Fight.
Oh, I slept. Unlucky.
Round 4. Fight.
Oh, I backdashed. How my backdash with that?
Final round. Fight.
Super obvious that he's gonna do that. Okay, we played first to 12 now theoretically, but I have everything I need. Gonna have to go a bit in depth. Move versatility. Heat usage. I think he's doing a good job on pressure. Okay. He's in this stream, so I'll just go into practice mode and then we can start. Okay. Feel free to call all your Devilgen friends or whatever, because this is gonna be the important part of the stream. I don't have any expectations, so.
Devil Jin. Devil Jin.
Okay,
Get
so
ready for the next
Umbra
battle.
was actually here for coaching before, and he already knows what I think his strengths are. And he's been working on them, so I will not be talking about his strengths or his game plan in that regard, but I'm gonna talk about everything I noticed that is holding him back right now, kinda. And the very first thing I'm gonna mention here is Umbra is a player that is mostly held back by a lot of bad habits. What I mean by that is you can clearly see that, you know how rank forces you to play in a way where you have to just throw everything out in a first to two, and it can be anything. It can be bad habits, it can be flowchart sequence gaming. Tekken 8 is like, especially in Season 2, it's a lot of sequence gaming. So what I'm trying to say is, Umbra is also kind of a victim of that first to two mindset of, I'm gonna try and throw everything out, and since my opponent won't be able to deal with it in time, I'm probably gonna get away with it. And what happened here is, I lost like one match, and after that match specifically, I felt super comfortable playing against him because I realized, okay, all I have to do is predict the sequence and then launch him for it. Still got hit here and there by things I had to read on, but that's whatever. I didn't mind because I could still win easily, like any other interaction to win a round. But the very first thing I'm gonna already say is, Umbra's main issue is straight up sequence gaming. So what will happen is he does like a down 3, and then he does a sidestep electric. Or when he gets hit by a poke, or when he blocks a poke, it's sidestep electric. Eventually, when I realized that he's only throwing out the electrics dialed and not really neutral, I realized, okay, I can just dash in his face like this. Like, consistently, weevoo, 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 just dash in his face. And I never had to be scared of an electric, really, because he rarely used electrics in a neutral like that. He mostly used them after, like, stepping, like, sidestep into electric, right? He didn't really he didn't really try to time those electrics. So what would happen is there was, like, one part where I was like, okay, I pressed into his down 3, I pressed the back 4-2 to track him. And he did a sidestep into electric. And I was like, okay, damn, this was really good. So he whiff punished my back 4-2 right away. Was geht, Alex? And I tried again, you know. I wanted to see, okay, does he do this on reaction or does he just throw this out? Like dialed, like a flowchart. And then he still did sidestep into electric, and I was like, okay, maybe he didn't try to whiff punish, maybe he just threw it out like that. And after that, I already picked up on that, on the fact that, okay, all I have to deal with is the sidestep electrics. That's the main threat against him. So what he needs to tone down is the amount of sidestep electrics he does, because that will make his electrics much more predictable, and try to throw them out more in neutral or as a whiff punish. Because, you know, those are the main strengths of your electric. You want to use them either as a whiff punish or as a counter tool. Theoretically, when you think about it, in this season, electrics are just a much stronger form of Steve's back one. Because what does Steve back one really do? It's like a timing tool, right? It's a timing counter launcher. On top of that, an electric also has tracking, and it also launches on normal hit. And it's plus unblock, so it can play off that situation. And it's 30 frames just like Steve's back one. So if you use it like in that logic, in that regard, you're gonna have much more success than just throwing it out like a, I don't know, like a flowchart, sidestep electric, whatever. I think that's what holds a lot of Mishima's players back, like sequence gaming. So Too Long didn't listen. Try to keep those sidestep electrics in check, because you need to keep in mind those sidestep electrics also take a lot of time. So you sidestep, that alone takes like 6 to 10 frames, and then you throw out the electric. That's like 20 to 25 frames wasted on a move that you could be throwing out much faster, or if you end up confirming a whiff, you can also just confirm the whiff and then throw out the electric. But don't just randomly sidestep electric like that. It's fine once or twice, but don't insist on it. It's like something you have to keep in mind, especially for like ranked, where people will throw out some disgusting flowcharts to catch sidestep into press, and you get countered launch, and you can't really rely on these kinds of flowcharts. You need to use that electric more in isolation for like whiff punishment and timing, especially in the neutral. Otherwise, your electrics are just not a threat. If the only electric you're hitting is a sidestep into electric that you're not even confirming, that's not a good electric. Another thing I noticed is that you panic a lot on wake up. So like, let's see if I can restart myself in like this, right? So in like low HP situations, or like in general, after getting knocked down, you're super scared of the mix-ups. You will go for a risky toe kick. You will go for a wake up 4 or wake up 3. You will even go for this. But you rarely ever just tech roll into safety and then wake up safely. Like, this will also get you killed a lot in a rank, because what a lot of players will do, they realize, okay, people are trying to use wake up kicks a lot against my offense. What are they gonna do? They're gonna bait the wake up kicks. And for example, Link players have setups exactly for that scenario, like people pressing wake up kicks and then they launch you for it. It's another bad habit of yours that you just need to like actively be aware of. Okay, am I wake up kicking too much? Like let's talk about toe kicks. I think toe kicks are the worst wake up option in the game. The only time toe kicks are really good is when they kill. I genuinely believe toe kicks are the worst wake up option in the game. Not only are they steppable, they also whiff insanely easily, and unblocked they're like, what, minus 18? Minus 18. So, what is the reward you gain? You're still minus after a Toki got hit. Okay, yeah, it's fast, but still, it's not worth the risk, because you will land this once and interrupt someone's offense, and then you die once for it. The risk reward is not in your favor. It really isn't. And that also goes for like the fly wake up. You only use this on a heartbeat. You don't just throw it out like that. You need to be very careful with how you wake up. Best thing you can do is just side roll into safety and then try and wake up. Another thing that is also an issue is once your face is down like this, you insist on pressing the wake up 3 here, or by standing 4. You just can't not do it. Like, you need to stop. When your face is down like this, just hold back. It's the easiest way of waking up here. It's super safe. They buffed the, like, it takes less time. Be careful with how you wake up, because worst case, you won't wake up at all. And you don't want that. You don't want to lose a round just for using a wake up kick. Like, it's a super bad habit of yours, same as the sidestep electrics. And you're mostly held back by bad habits. Like, your neutral is not bad at all. You play a really solid neutral, but your issue is that you will just ruin it with like a bad habit here and there, and then you just get launched and lose the round. So you need to become more consistent with your game plan. Another thing that I noticed is that your move versatility is just not there. So like, the only things I really have to worry about against you is either back 4-2, maybe a sidestep electric here and there, and the down too. You don't really use a variety of moves, and if you don't use a variety of moves, the issue with that is I don't have to like concern myself with, okay, what move comes next. It's very obvious what move is gonna come next. You need to really be more well, creative with your offense, I think, because you have a lot of trouble opening someone up that just stands there moving around, holding back. Like, what you would do is spam a lot of Dominic too, but that's not the way of opening up someone either. You play Devil Jin. You have the easiest way of opening someone up. If you're gonna open someone up with lows, use your health sweep. Even if you risk your life for it, it's still your biggest strength. You can always open up people with your health sweep. And if you have trouble with landing them, you can always wave dash. Like, wave dashing will make it hard to guess for anyone when the health sweep will come out. But what you can't do is just use Dominic 2 as your only low, because what you're also doing is you're kind of checking with Dominic 2 a lot. So let's say, let's create this scenario here. It's like what I would do here and there is, I would have a mid block of mine. I would be -9. What you would do is check with Dominic 2. I think this is the worst usage of Dominic 2 possible, unless you use it for the high crush. So like, let's take a look at Dominic 2, right? It's a counter hit knockdown, high crushing low that is plus on hit. And it's especially strong out of wave dash because that kind of hides its animation a bit. And you can also mix it with back 1+2. So like, the move has perfect synergy with back 1+2. But if you're not using it in the same scenarios with like back 1+2, if you're not combining those two moves, they complement each other. Like, they're both +3, you can play the plus frame situation out really well. But if you only use Dominic 2 as a check, of course people are gonna consistently block it, right? All they have to do is just backdash, look out for the low, and bomb. Like, it's super visible here. So you got a lot of your Dominic 2s blocked just for trying to check me with it consistently. And eventually you stop and realize, okay, this doesn't work anymore. At that point, either try to take your frames with other moves, like back 1+2 or like an electric maybe. Like, never forget electrics are super fast plus frames moves as well. But don't just use Dominic 2 as a check or spam the living shit out of it, because it's not gonna open people up the way you think. If you want to open people up, you have, for 1, your health sweep. 2, you have great plus frames to just consistently annoy your opponent with. And then fuck them up for making a mistake against your offense. It's like you can just consistently spam plus frames and wait for them to get annoyed eventually. And if they keep not pressing into you, go for that health sweep. Like, your character is the best at opening people up in theater, because either they will have to duck or they will have to step. And for both, you have great options with Devil Jin. This move alone covers both options. So like, you shouldn't have a lot of trouble trying to open people up with Devil Jin and then playing around those options they're using against you, right? So that's about the Dominic 2 usage. Another issue with your move placements is up for 1. So like, what happened a lot in the earlier part of our set is that you would place these up for 1s around this range, especially when you needed a comeback. But I think up for 1 outside of heat is not worth the risk. There were a few times where you used up for 1 in heat, which was pretty good. That's like the one case where I think up for 1 is a good move. It's when you are in heat. But outside of that, you need to be very careful with your up for 1 usage, because it's also like a bad habit. Yo, thanks for the sub, Net. Be very careful in how you place it, because from this range, when I'm playing against Devil Jin on this range, right? Follow my logic here. I'm on this range. What move does Devil Jin have that can really hit me here? He has up for 1, and he has 4/4/4. Both of which I can beat with a simple side step right, or if I have the read and up for 1, I will just backdash once here. There's nothing else that can hit me here, so from this range, of course it's gonna be very easy for me to deal with your up for 1, because it's the only move I have to like be careful of here. And it's the same for 4/4/4. I do one side step to the right and you're dead pretty much. Just that I didn't get my whiff punishes to hit, so I should have just used something else, but you get the idea. Be careful with your up for 1 placement. Like, it's way less obvious. Like, even though it's a flowchart after an electric, for example, it's still less obvious in this situation, because you can still mix your options up very easily. So like, you can do electric into wave dash mixed up. You can do electric into, I don't know, more pressure. Then eventually what you can do is, when they're trying to sidewalk your offense here, you can throw out an up for 1 like that. So like, don't make it a flowchart. I'm just telling you one way of how you could be using it. But throwing out up for 1 from this range is the most obvious thing you can do, because it's like the only thing that can hit someone from here. It's the only move you have that has this range. So try to follow this logic always. I'm on this range. What move could my opponent be expecting? It's either gonna be 4/4/4 or up for 1. So you need to be careful here. Another thing that I noticed is that you're kind of afraid to play around your plus frame situations with Dominic 2. So like, eventually you realized I do not press into your Dominic 2 anymore, right? You had a very easy time just playing your turn after this, because I didn't really press into you anymore. After like, There were a few times in the beginning parts of the set where I did like sidestep electric after eating Namek 2. Afterwards, when I didn't press anything anymore, you could have played the mind game out a bit more. So like you could layer your mind games. What you can do is, if your opponent doesn't press you at all anymore because you conditioned them with sidestep electric or Westering 4 or whatever, feel free to take your plus frames with like bigger mix-ups. It doesn't have to be a hell sweep. Like, a lot of people will expect you going for a hell sweep if you don't use your plus frames here anymore. But what we could also do is just wave dash, back 1+2, wave dash, down 2, wave dash into sidestep, wave dash into anything really. Wave dash is the bread and butter of your offense once you have conditioned someone. Because if you don't want your offense to be predictable, you want to mix up your timings with a wave dash. That's what I did eventually against you as well. So if I can guarantee you, if I actually used hell sweeps in our set, you probably wouldn't have blocked a single one of them when I was wave dashing. Because eventually you were also scared of pressing into my plus frames. And when I wave dash like this, you're not gonna read my mix-up timing. You're gonna have to either press into me, which you did eventually with down forward 1-2 and stuff. But even that, let's say I wave dash into you, right? And you eventually just press down forward 1-2. I can just duck that. And once again, I've made my wave dash useful by just doing nothing. I just wave dash in your face. And because you tried to stop me from wave dashing, I just launch you for it. You know, you don't risk much wave dashing. If you're good at dash blocking, you are not risking much. You are risking something when you consistently try to press after your wave dash. Like, there's a huge difference between just using a wave dash to press moves and then moving around to press around your opponent's options. Like, eventually I just accepted that I want to have you play your game so I can see how you would deal with me just standing there and trying to play your game. And honestly, you had a really hard time because you were so scared of using your wave dash to mix your timings up and your mix-ups in general. Like, eventually you need to realize, okay, I'm playing Devil Jin, I need to take risks. I just conditioned my opponent. What is my main way of making use of that? Obviously, your hell sweep. Your character revolves on this move right now. Even though it's cancer, I know it sucks to be using that hell sweep mainly, but the best thing that can happen to you with Devil Jin is that you have conditioned your opponents. Either by using moves like this that are literally made for conditioning because they beat both ducking and sidestepping, or because you consistently played your plus frame situations out correctly, and they're scared to press into you. That goes for both back 1+2 and Namek 2. Like, these plus frame moves are a godsend in this game because it makes conditioning so much easier. In Tekken 7, you didn't have these kinds of plus frame moves. You had like raw running free. But that situation you played out differently because of the pushback on block. Same goes for electric. But theoretically you can do the same here. Like, if we look at this situation. Tracks here. Whoops. Tracks here. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna be tired of trying to sidewalk here. They're gonna backdash. So you just condition your opponent into backdashing or ducking for your up forward one. And that's when you can start either going in with a mid, or you can use those plus frames because they're tired of beating your, or like dealing with your up forward one, and actually go in with a wave dash mix up. Like, conditioning is the bread and butter of this character. I think a lot of Devil Jin players to this day don't understand that this character is all about conditioning your opponent. If you don't have your opponent conditioned and you still try to wave dash in their face, you're an idiot. Because that means you have no information on your opponent, yet you still try to go in with a mix-up and you just get a hop kick in your face. Like, you need to realize, okay, is my opponent conditioned or not? I was conditioned because I let you play your game. I didn't even house sweep anymore. I didn't even try to use keep out anymore. I wanted to see what you're gonna do with your plus frames, or like with the space I give you in the neutral to play around with it. And you didn't do much with it except like chaining down back 2s. But eventually you need to realize, okay, he's conditioned. He doesn't really press after my down back 2 anymore. Now I can make use of my character's biggest strength, wave dash mix-ups. Like, you're playing a Mishima, you have to be ballsy here and there. And that goes for both down back 2 and back 1+2. So like, eventually, when you realize your opponent doesn't press into your back 1+2 at all anymore, good for you, because then you can wave dash and mix them up. I'm not telling you to house you specifically, I'm just saying, if you have your opponent conditioned, that's peak times for you, because then you can actually mix them without having to go for the same mix-up timing always. Like, a lot of Devil Jin players would be like, okay, I just blocked the -9 move. Or whatever. Let's assume I just blocked the -9 move. Devil players will just go in and toss you, and then, oh, why did my health sweep get blocked? Obviously, because you didn't take your frames. Instead, you went for a dash into health sweep, which, like, you need to realize there's a timing to this, right? Let's say I have this Devil Jin backdash after this. So, like this, for example. I do this, he blocks it. I do this, he blocks it. I do this, he blocks it. But then, you know, there's a timing to this, right? It's an instant timing. But then when I go on and health sweep, it's much slower than your mids. And that's why people block your health sweep a lot of the times, because you're not taking your plus frames. They immediately go like, okay, he's not taking his plus frames, he's not taking his turn, he must be going for a mix-up, he's probably going for a health sweep here. You need to keep this in mind. There's a timing to mix-ups as well. I know it's hard to do in a first to two, but I'm talking about the long run here. Sometimes you manage to actually condition someone in the span of like one match. So if they don't let themselves get conditioned, chances are there's one option that will consistently work against them. So let's say this Devil Jin presses while standing for consistently to keep me away from using my plus frames. Like, let's say I'm playing against a Mashy Asuka that will always try to keep me from using my plus frames, right? For example here. Chances are what's gonna work instead is this. Like, eventually he has to get tired of trying to press into your plus frames. And then you will have them conditioned. If you don't have them conditioned here, just keep using the same option. It's that simple, really. Like, why change a running system? You get what I mean? In a first to two especially, there's no reason to change a running system. But if you do have them conditioned, you need to clock that real quick. Because that's when your character shines the most, especially Devil Jin. And then the last two things, actually, I think you need to work around more of like... hold on, he brought something on Discord, I believe. Oh, no mind. Basically, you need to be more wary of your heat move usage as well. Like, the main way you're gonna use your heat is either by going to raw Morning Crow, or here and there you will also use upward one. But at the same time, the thing with Devil Jin's heat is, even if your Morning Crow is so strong, it doesn't mean that you can't use your heat in a neutral either. It's the same logic as earlier. If you have your opponent conditioned, especially since it's easier with like Morning Crow 2, people are scared as fuck to either duck or step. So even here, when you're in heat, you can still go for a CD4 free in the neutral here and there. And it's probably less obvious than anything else you could do, for example, after a heat engager. After a heat engager, it's a real 50-50. In the neutral, it's not a real 50-50 anymore, because you also have a timing mix-up to it. So don't be scared to use other heat moves in the neutral as well. You need to be ballsy with this character to get reward out of him. It's just how Devil Jin works. So like, don't just reduce your heat move usage to just up for one or whatever. And what you can also do is, if people start ducking or stepping against you a lot in like heat, one of my favorite moves in heat is actually down for 2. Because let's imagine this Devil Jin does he sidewalks here, right? It's not a very unusual thing to do, to sidewalk to the right or left or whatever. If my down for 2 tracks him here, look at this. It's 17 plus 39 unrecoverable damage. It's 56 damage in total. Like, down for 2 becomes such an amazing move in heat as well. Yeah, I just played a first to 10 against Umbra, so I'm reviewing him specifically, so... it's even better when... hold on. When you land a counter hit, because then chances are you're gonna get 60 damage into flip over. So... I think down for 2 is actually one of your best heat moves as well, despite it not being powered up by heat, but your Morning Crow transition is. And theoretically, down for 2 is also stronger when you don't have heat activated, because you also get that knockdown. That knockdown makes a huge difference. So, I don't know. Let's do something like this, right? Well, this was kind of fucky because he sidewalked to the right, but... sequence like this, he's flipped over, I get a free mix-up here, so I got like 60 plus 39 damage. I dealt 100 unrecoverable damage just from that down for 2 into counter hit. I mean, you can just continue doing it until they finally duck it, and then once they duck, just do this instead. It's not guaranteed, but still, why would you not go for back 4 if they are not side rolling it successfully? No reason not to. And even if they start rolling it, you still get this, which is still 51 damage, and it's still okay theoretically, because you can go into Morning Crow after. And they're face down, so chances are they're gonna try to go for some dumb shit. I don't know why, but when people are face down like this on knockdown, they just do a lot of dumb shit. It's in Tekken 8 player's brain. I don't know why. And the last thing I would recommend you to do is to use more pokes in general. So like single jabs. I think I already told you about this the last time. You're not using pokes enough that it can. Like one thing Devil Jin is going for him in this game is movement. His movement in Tekken 7, he was like a tank, bro. He could barely step. His backdash was average at best. Devil Jin had a lot of issues stepping. He had the worst movement among the Mishimas. In this game, it's different. He actually has very average movement, which is pretty good for a male. Like Kazuya has worse movement than Devil Jin in this game. So you can actually utilize your sidestep and like backdash properly. And you actually have pokes that you can do this with. 1-1, single jab, while standing for. If you don't know what to throw out in the neutral, at least throw out a poke here and there. Try to see, okay, will my pokes at least work? Like you started using down 3 eventually after I started using it, and you finally realized, okay, that move is not bad at all either. So if you combine these kind of small pokes with like by sitting for 1-1, whatever, eventually you will realize your opponent will get tired of it and try to press into you. And there's no easier way of countering your opponent's buttons than being this little minus. So let's say this Devil Jin player presses anything into my vice sitting 4, right? Realistically, there's nothing you can really do to catch my backdash here unless he uses like up for 1 or 4-4-4. I wouldn't use down for 1 for the purpose of it being a poke, because down for 1's purpose is not. No, it's not a poke. It's a counter hit check or like a counter confirm. It's super bad on buff and it has bad tracking, so I wouldn't use it as a poke. But while saying 4 in comparison, for example, it recovers fast, a slight tracking to one side, it's +8 on hit, -3 on block, and it has pushback. This is the most important thing about Wisting 4. It actually has pushback. So, as you can see, this pushback makes it possible for you to backdash a lot of options your opponent can use, even an electric. And then you can, I'm not telling you to flowchart this electric, by the way. I'm telling you to confirm this with, and then with punish. Can go a long way. And that goes for any move, really. Like with 1-1, it will be harder to backdash this down for 1. You don't have the equal amount of pushback, but then, you know, you can sidestep instead. Hopefully. So you get the idea, right? I mean, with these kinds of pushback situations, they're not bad either. What's the best way to use back 4 out of Fable? I wouldn't necessarily go for back 4 out of Fable. If you're already wave dashing, 4-4-4 is probably a better counter hit button most of the time. Also has better reward than normal hit. The question is, do you have any advice to land down for 2 on counter hit? I have trouble to use this move efficiently. I think it's the same logic as your electric, you just have trouble with timing in general. Something you can only develop by using it a lot more. But try to time down for 2 the same way you would time your electric. Just keep in mind it's actually a mid. So things that would avoid your electric. So what I did at some point to avoid highs of yours is I would go in with Dominic 2, right? So to avoid your 1-1 or sidestep into electric, I would go in like this and Dominic 2. Your electric won't beat this, but down for 2 would. This is like one of many examples where you can use down for 2 instead of electric. Do you think that Devil Jin is the worst character in this game? I don't. But yeah, this pretty much sums up my first 10 coaching session. You know, to boil it down, you need to work on your bad habits, especially on wake up and like your sidestep electric things, sidestep buttons in general. You need to work on your move versatility, especially with your heat move usage, because you're very predictable in your movement. And you need to find out how to make your, like, you need to clock on earlier that your opponents are conditioned. Because you have an easy time conditioning people, I think, because you also have a pretty clean neutral. But at the same time, you're not making use of, like, the way you condition your opponents. And this character is all about conditioning. So, like, that also goes for the plus frame situations and everything. And some move placements here and there, but I'm gonna write it down in the notes and send it to you later. Or if you're fine with it, you can also just go through the VOD again afterwards. But yeah, that's the first of 10 sessions. So next up would be the replays. And for the replays, we can do everything live. Yeah, exactly. You're not making much of your conditioning, but the key, like, I keep saying this, the bread and butter of Devil Jin is being able to condition your opponent. Once you understand that, you're gonna have such a huge power, like, level up in playing the character. And if you realize your opponent is unconditionable, chances are huge that one option will consistently work against them. Against stubborn people, there's always one option that will work. Always. You can keep this in mind. You don't have to beat everything your opponent does, but you need to find out this one or two things that you can beat in a round to get a launch and then win the rest of the round. Because you know how this character has pretty shit poking, right? You're not going to get consistent damage off poking your opponent down. But you're definitely going to be able to kill your opponent off getting him launched once into a billion combo damage, because that's like the strength of this character now, into a final mix-up. This character snowballs insanely well. Just that you have to find this one opening where you can start snowballing. Is Kazuya similar for the conditioning part? Kinda, but Kazuya also has an easier time conditioning his opponents because he has better plus frame moves and he has a bigger fuck you button in down for 2. Like, it's much more scary to press into Kazuya's plus frames actually than Devil Jin because of down for 2 existing alone. Yeah, so like he's saying this is why you sometimes do Warbearing 3 after back 1 plus 2. Like, I have a lot of room here, you know, I can do whatever I want. And eventually, if my opponent gets tired of me chaining my plus frames, it's the easiest launch ever. I didn't necessarily pay attention to your minus frame situations, and I wouldn't worry about it for now. Your main issue, or like your main focus now, should be your bad habits. That's what I think. Devil Jin already is pretty solid, it's just that he's super inconsistent. It's a different matter all around, I think. What would be my strength as a player? I think you can play a very concise and like calm neutral. I think that's your strength. Like in the neutral, you don't really throw out too much. The issue is how you throw things out. So like, if you actually worked on your timing in the neutral, you would be like 10 times scarier as a player. Because what you can do, your strength mainly, is that you have a very easy time to like play, how do you call this? So like, a very Tekken 7 style neutral, I'll say. You don't really throw out too much. You can play a very clean neutral out. That's your main strength, I believe. And you also have pretty good execution. So if you combined that actually with like better timings in general, you would be so much more scary as a player to go in against. Just playing, like, just improving your neutral timing would make it so much more scary to go in against you as a player. So like, I think your potential as a player is more on like keep out and whiff and block punishment. I think these should be your strengths as a player, judging from your game plan. Because you're not super aggressive, you don't panic too much. Like, you're not using a lot of gimmicks. You play a very solid neutral. You have a very solid choice of moves. That's why you should focus on that specifically, I think. You know, I think you should work on your keep out. Your punishment is good. It's like, work on your whiff punishment as well, and you're gonna be so much stronger as a player all around. And that goes for any matchup. It's like a very universal thing, you know? It's a very universal fundamental thing. Question, should you overthink minus frames? Depends on what they do. So like, if this Devil Jin player... Wait. Let's say I'm playing against a Devil Jin player that does... Let's assume every single time when he's +8, he tries to go for a wave dash mix-up, right? If you understand that he's not frame trapping you, those plus frames might as well not exist. So if you press into this, you're not an idiot for mashing, you just have a read that he's not using his plus frames. And then you can press into him instead. That's just how mind games go, but you shouldn't necessarily overthink it. You should just clock on, are they using their plus frames or not? If not, then you can consider pressing into it. Like, you will even see pro players mash into +9 here and there because like, you're not always going to use your plus frames. Otherwise, your offense would become too predictable. It's always the same timing after all. Yeah, I could check the replays now. I would just have to know which replays. Maybe I'll just go onto your profile and you let me know which matches you want me to look at specifically. Let me copy that. I think one time is never enough to get a full grasp on. Like, they can always mix their options up, but if they consistently do the same thing, yeah, you should probably consider trying to go and find a way to beat that. Yeah, like, if you watch Koreans play, everything they do is on the fly. Every single thing. Like, there's people copying flowcharts from Koreans without even understanding why they're doing them. And I think that's not a good thing to do. I mean, +28 is an entirely different thing. It's the same logic as Divulgence +24, don't make one +2. There's no reason to press into that. I don't know how that shit is allowed to exist anyway. Okay, just let me know which replays you want me to take a look at. Wait, what did I just do? Oh, was his name Honest Wave Dash at some point? It's like, let's look at 5 matches for the replay review. Maybe the one versus King? Let's take a look. Let's take a match where you lost, like this one maybe. Why can I not watch the replay? Oh, is it because there was a patch in between? Or what? Why can I not watch these matches? Does anyone know? The one in ranked? Which one is the one in ranked? This one? Against Horing? Oh, this is a cheater. That's whatever. Maybe Horing? Okay. If you have a player blocked, you can check their replays. Oh yeah, I have Ole blocked because of his connection. Fair enough. Makes sense. Okay. Let's take a look at this then.
Get ready for the
Believe me,
next
if you ever
battle.
play against Ole when you're in Germany, playing that fuck-ass connection will get you really angry. King on 100 plus MS is just straight cancer. Okay, so let's take a look at the Horing matchup then, because this is also something a lot of people struggle with in Tekken 8. Alright, what's my pause button? What's this? Yo, Chanti, danke für den Raid, Bro. Bis dann jetzt. Okay, this is something I already talked about before. you checking with Domek too consistently like this, he clocked onto that immediately. Like, it's hard to tell you what you should have done against the stand specifically, because you would have to have a hard read for that. Blocking against it is not necessarily the wrong thing to do, but... You mainly lost that one because of the way you checked the character. Final mix-up. Okay, this is a string you have to duck. There's no way around it. Notice how this is a mid-high. You need to duck this. When he's in this right foot forward stance... Like, I'm not even sure, is this right foot forward? Either way, you need to duck the high of this. A lot of Horror players get away with murder when they use this move. Like, this was fine.
Round 3.
Just waiting for the matchup specific things. Okay, let's take a look at this situation. He's only +2 after this mid. So theoretically, if you have the read on him not doing a fast move, it's better to just jab check or down jab instead of going for a hard read by sitting 2 here. Against Horror stances, you need to have a very educated guess on what you're gonna press. Most of the time, you're best off just pressing a single jab or just pressing nothing. Like, it's not really worth overthinking your options against Horror stances. And you could have killed here, actually. If you press the down laser instead of back 4, the down laser does more damage and it's also guaranteed. So you could have killed earlier in that situation. Okay, so don't press here. Nice. So in this situation, again, what he can do here is, if he wants to, he can go for some flappies to beat you from pressing. But there's no reason for him to use the flappies because he knows that you're not gonna press anything fast into it. So theoretically, you can afford to jab or like down jab. In this case, down jabbing would have been bad because this move high crush is the one he uses after. But jabbing or sidewalking is not necessarily a bad option, especially when he's not dead plus. It's like Domek 4, sidestep 4 into stance are not dead plus, for example. So you can try to go for a jab interrupt. Best thing you can do against Horring is honestly just find a way to interrupt this offense. Horring's a very momentum-based character. I should have punched that power push. Nice punish. Like, there's not much to say here. Like, it's hard to tell you what to specifically do against horror instances because it is a guess in your counterplay. I should probably take a look at losses. Hello, I'm Adrian. Let's see. Oh, there's a loss here. So let's take a look at the loss here. Probably makes more sense for the purpose of coaching.
Get ready for the next battle.
Hello, Dragmons. Hope you're doing well.
Round 1. Fight.
It's like, this is another situation. I think you can actually boil this down to a much simpler counterplay route. Like, if you see them pressing this mid-homing, chances are you will always be able to interrupt with a jab. And then it's a mix between either interrupting or continuously blocking against the stance pressure. But you can almost always float this move. There's no transition where this is unblockable, I believe. Can you watch the Kazuya match after? Only if Umbra wants me to. Okay, so in this situation, I would never press against Horeng, even if he's only +2. Because either you press into him and you eat a jab into 100 damage, or if you try to go for, I don't know, a power crush or a heat burst yourself or whatever, and he goes for the low, you're still dead. And he also has a mid where you can go for the flat piece options. Like, whatever you do, you're kind of fucked if you press here and you have a wrong guess. Like, I guess, no, even down jabbing is a bad option, because if he goes for the... He has a mid where he also gets flat piece guaranteed. That is a high crush on top, low crush on top. So I would, like, the risk reward is never in your favor here. Just keep blocking here. Yeah, okay, that was... It's fine, I guess. And that why saying 2 should not have been a punish. I don't know what he pressed, but be very careful with trying to punish his jab strings with anything, really. This string specifically. Horeng players will... Yeah, it's a new Twitch account. What's good access to? Horeng players will use this as a frame trapping tool, especially at the wall, as a wall splitting frame trapping tool. You need to duck the second hit here. Super important that you do. This 1-1-2 was not a punish. And then when they check you with that homing move, the best thing you can do is, as you did here, a pushback move and then hope that your backdash beats it. Now I'm not sure if... How do I do... Oh yeah. Oh wait. Best case, you can backdash this. I guess in this situation you couldn't. But if they start checking you with this, you kinda win, because they're gonna be -9 after this every single time. So against Horeng, you do want to do a lot of sidewalking in the neutral, especially against like wave dash into down 3-4 or just frame skyrocket. Most of Horeng's offense is pretty sidewalkable if he's not in stance. And then when you start sidewalking, they start checking you with the homing move. That's when you can start taking your frames, because he's -9, and it's actually better for you to make them use that homing move, because that way you don't have to necessarily deal with dumber moves like just frame skyrocket. And then what a lot of Horeng players will do is they will use that flamingo jab to get out of stance. After this move, for example, he's stuck in that stance. So what I like to do is I like to just do a single backdash here. And then hopefully be able to confirm a jab with and use a 1-1-2. That flamingo jab is only like -15 or something on with. You're never gonna punish that with an electric on reaction. But you can theoretically go for a 1-1-2. And this skyrocket, if he fails his just frame skyrocket, you need to launch that. It's one thing you have to look out for. At least go for a small punish, because it's -18. You need to fuck them up for getting a misinput here. Like, at the very least, go for a back 1-2 or like back to 3. Usually I have enough time to back to 3 here. I mean, there's not much you can do here except guess. It's a fucking situation. But you need to, like, I already said this before, you need to be very careful if you're down back 2 checking. It's not a good move to be checking with. There's not much matchup specific things to say here. Ah, okay. For this move specifically, if you're ever gonna sidewalk on this situation, if ever, wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But a lot of Horeng players will actually go for that 30 frame mid to keep you from pressing anything slow. You can sidewalk that to the left. And Devilton usually gets very hefty punishes for sidewalking to the left, so if you just go for this here, you win the round. It's one thing to look out for, so like when people are in heat, there's a high chance they're gonna go for a heat dash move or whatever. And you can sidewalk this to the left. There's like against Horang, you want to sidewalk left as much as possible until they really force you to stop doing that. It's been the same since Tekken 7, really. Going to the right, there's no reason to go to the right, honestly.
Round 4. Fight.
Maybe we can take a look at the Steve match after. Okay, this is a very common follow-up as well. Oops. Some characters can sidewalk here, but it's not easy. Like, if they're slow with it, you can actually sidewalk. But it can be a bit iffy to do, because you have to actually buffer that sidestep. What you can definitely do, though, is you can do, like, wake up power crush, wake up heat burst. Obviously don't spam that, but since it's a very common setup, I do think it's okay to back free here and there, or like use a heat burst or a power crush. Because it is a very, very common follow-up to that throw. And at the wall, when Horangs go for Oki enders like this, there's almost never a reason to stay on the ground, because they will almost always go for a Oki tool that is +8 on wake up and hits grounded. So essentially you're just risking getting damage, or like taking damage for nothing. Like staying on the ground against Horang at the wall is almost never worth it, unfortunately. Where was the Steve player? Oh. Well, let's take a look at this match.
Get ready for the next battle.
So like against Steve, I think it's important to always be able to read a back one in the neutral. Don't just mindlessly go in with your offense against Steve. You're gonna get counter punch for sure. Okay, something I can already tell you and any other Devil Jump player. If you're already off axis like this when you land the hell sweep, you're never gonna get that setup going. That setup really requires you to be on the right. You don't have enough time here to step to his right, so there's really no reason whatsoever to go for that setup here. Just straight up not gonna work. And like, you're already pressing that Domic too much. I think it's your... Like, it's... I don't want to say it's the main reason you're losing, but you can't keep checking with Domic 2 like that. It's bait. It really is bait.
Round 2.
It is a niche setup. It's not something you can rely on consistently.
Over here. It's over.
That's a guess here. It's whatever. That's also a guess. Okay, so against Steve in heat, big recommend never hard sidewalk. Never ever hard sidewalk against this character. You step block for 5 Fox Fury and the heat smash, and you step block for that Sonic Fang, but you're never gonna sidewalk that heat Sonic Fang entirely, ever. The second hit is pretty much homing. The best thing you can do is step block and pray that you don't get hit. Like, even here... You're just gonna get tricked. Not really worth trying to sidewalk against it. Oi. I don't think there was a reason to go for the old staple here. Like, I don't know. Personally, I would have probably just done something like, wait, where did he land that? Oops. I guess I would have just done something like this. No, mine doesn't even reach the wall. I lied. Even that doesn't reach the wall. I guess this would have been the best option here. Could have almost gotten the kill. But when you're off axis like this, the main staple tends to drop. Like when you're to the left of your opponent, back 4-1 is very unreliable. And that's like a very Steve player thing to do. When you have low HP, a lot of Steve players will go for a 1-1. Best thing you can do is just stay hard that, and then go for a Westing 4-4 punish. A lot of Steve players will go for 1-1 when they're low HP. Like, they're checking too much with Dominic too against a character that can consistently weave away from it. I'm not even gonna lie, you probably lost the entirety of that match because of your bad Dominic 2 habits. You need to work on that. It's not a move to be checking with. Is there another match that you want me to take a look at specifically? Maybe against Claudio or Lee. Can do like 2 more matches, and then we'll have the 2-hour threshold filled. Lee? Okay.
Get ready for the next battle.
Yeah, I think back 1+2 and Dominic 2 are good to bait out the weave, but you need to use options to beat that weave. So like dashing into a house, it will actually track the weave. But a Weisling 4, like a Weisling 2, will never track the weave. Okay, so this was pretty good conditioning from the start. Nice. There's not much to say to this round. It's just a straight W.
Fight.
Alaikum salam. I honestly think in these heat house situations it's almost always better to just go for the Morning Crow free. Oops. Because then you can just go for a final mix-up here. The damage is super important. Like, if you go for a back 4-2-1-2, it's not really, like, it's not really worth going for the hell suit to begin with, I think. And you need to be very careful with that down laser setup. I don't think it's very legitimate. The only time you want to use that down laser setup is when you know that your opponent tech rolls to the left. If you don't clock that early on, there's no reason to risk your life going for that. That's what I think. Plus, against characters like Lee or Devilgen, where you are launch punishable when they block it, I think it's not worth to begin with. It's only worth against characters that can't launch it, in my opinion. Because it is reactable. I think that laser is super reactable. And I can't react to a lot of lows, but that's one of the few lows I can consistently react to. It was good strike missed. And when you block a down 4 against Lee, there's no reason really to not stay ducked. Most lead players will use it as a counted button, especially after like a throw break. Might as well just stay ducked and wait for the last few highs to come out and then launch him for it. That's like not a move you want to go for when you're in heat. That was mostly a heat move usage issue. There's nothing keeping you from just wave dashing in and pressuring him. He's not pressing anything. That's a combo drop, it's whatever. Nice. When they tech roll to the right, you don't want to necessarily go for that down for one. And this is something I mentioned earlier as well when I played against you. When you're in this situation on the ground, you never just normally wake up, you always go for that while standing free. You need to stop doing that, it's a really bad habit. If you just tech rolled here, let's see. It would have been much safer than going for that while standing free. You don't want to risk your life for going for weird wake-up options. It's not worth it. Chances are they already have some Oki setups in mind anyway. And that while standing free is homing in that situation. There's nothing you can do against it, really. It's a guess. These while standing free is pretty retarded.
Final round. Fight.
You need to activate heat here. If you don't activate heat, you're crawling. Oi. Well, it could have theoretically like won the game 3 rounds earlier by having the matchup knowledge to be ducking that down for a follow-up. Could have won you the entire game. It was mostly a lack of matchup knowledge and like your bad habits coming into play that kept you from winning that round. Like, you can, even when you eat the down 4, you can still duck for the follow-ups. A lot of lead players will just blindly go for the follow-ups. You need to fuck them up for it. There's no mid to scare you. You can't let them get away with that, otherwise it becomes way too strong as a counter tool. Like, you don't have to play everything perfectly, but there's always this one thing you can look out for to win the entire match. And in this case, it was this low follow-up. In other cases, it was you waking up before staying free in places where you shouldn't. Like, keep in mind, people always have, like, they've played their character enough to know which Oki options they can use to beat most of your options. So there's no real reason to stay on the ground like that. It's a bad habit of yours that you use, that you consistently try to go for, like, up neutral free or, like, by standing free in these situations. You need to get rid of that. Shall we take a look at the Devilgen match? Or is there something else you want me to look at? King? Okay, let me try to find a king player. Oh, that's a cheater, that's whatever. Let's see if I can find a king. Let's take a look at this. I know it's Bleed's first game, I saw that. Okay, final match we are watching for today. King. I think against King it's super important to step block properly because a lot of his pokes will clip you a lot, his heat smash will clip you a lot. You can't really risk much times hard side walking against this character, that's what I believe. The only time you want to be hard side walking is to the left when you have a read and down for 2, and that's pretty much it. Anything else will clip you. Okay, you don't have to do this like right away, but when you see King players willing to use this string, it's not really a good string. You can actually sidestep divert it to the right and fuck them up for it. There's pro players who have this ingrained in their muscle memory to sidestep this to the right immediately and then get a full launch for it. Super important to keep in mind, because otherwise they get away with like a pretty strong jab string that also does a lot on counter hit. I can do more coaching streams, it's fine. It's just a bad back free placement. That was sitting 1-1 is not guaranteed, by the way. You can duck it. I don't even know what happened at the end there. I need to come back the round.
Round 1. Fight.
Okay, so here you can get Wise Sitting 1-2 into Morning Crow 2-2. That's fine. Well, that's unlucky. I don't even know what to say. Just evaded your throw.
Round 2. Fight.
Ah, that's a full mix-up. There's not much you can do. Generally hard to see. You should probably work on your P1 though. Like, I'm not sure if it's P1, but if it does, you need to work on your big set. Wait, there's no reason to finish it from that axis. Final mix-up. Oi. So like in that situation, when a King player goes for the ground throw like that, it's super riskless. If you tech roll into that, he's not with punishable at all. He's super safe. So there's no reason really not to tech roll there. It's the same for both King and Armor King. They're ground hitting throws. They recover almost immediately. You need to wake up there and just take the guess. And you need to duck that down for 2-1. Super important. Okay, we'll duck it here, I guess. So against King, specifically against Muscle Armor and the Jaguar step to the back, what I like to do personally is dash and jab. Because for one, he can't get a guaranteed follow-up on your jab if he absorbs it with Muscle Armor. And two, if you do end up catching his Jaguar step, you get a full float. So dash into jab is not necessarily a bad option at all. If you don't know what else to do with your offense, just dash into jab against King. Works really well in my experience. It's better than going for, say, up for 1 and eating the Muscle Armor follow-up. So like here, for example, I would probably just go for a... like this. You can interrupt that follow-up with more jabs, and then he will have to duck instead, so you get a small mix-up going. Or you can just stay safe after your jab if you want to. I think what you can also do is... depending on what timing he uses, can also sidestep this. So yeah, dash into jab is your best option. Like, you don't want to be using these high recovery moves against muscle armor. It's too risky. And against King in Heat, you just have to straight up... you have to wait out the Heat Smash. If you're minus, like -6 entire, you just have to wait out the Heat Smash. It's annoying, but it's your only option, really. Let's take a look at the adaptation. That's the last match we'll take a look at.
Next battle. Round 1. Fight.
Okay, thanks for the follow. -10. Rage sweep. And the hitbox on that is so funny. And this wasn't necessarily a matchup thing. Winning the round, you just placed your offense really well. That one really well. It's like when he's not busy Jagger stepping to the back or doing other shenanigans, you have an easy time going in with the sweep. He does not duck much. Maybe that's what you clocked onto, the fact that he doesn't duck much. And you have to tech roll here. Giant swing. Ah, power crush. Nice. Man, that was insanely lucky, I'm not gonna lie. Good shit. But something you can also always keep in mind when people go for really common flowcharts that every single player will use. So for example, a King player would do Heat Burst into Giant Swing a lot, so you can preemptively try and duck it. Because, you know, every King player will do it, right? Same goes for like Alisa players, they have like super common Magic 4 flowcharts. They're also very easy to beat if you have a read on it prior. Sometimes when it's a very common flowchart, you don't have to have a read on the player before, and you can just try and go for a read like that, even without the information necessary. And this string, like, you know that he likes going for it from the first match. So theoretically, you could have stepped into a launch here and finished the match already. And the buffering is so weird in this replay system. But yeah, this can be very simple to beat this. Don't let him get away with that string too much, it's not a good string. And in this situation, you get a Wise Swing 4-4 guaranteed. No, man. The jank wall would have fucked you here. Okay, no, I take back what I said. But usually Wise Swing 4-4 is guaranteed after... No, Wise Swing 1-2 is not guaranteed. Some characters can block it by holding forward. Oh, in this situation, if you actually block a Power Crush like this... If it's a high Power Crush, which isn't the case here, but some characters have high Power Crushes where if you duck them, like if you hit them with 1-1 and you recover in time, make sure to duck them. King's Power Crush is a mid, but there's also Power Crushes that are high so they can actually absorb and still duck. Super important. Obvious giant swing is obvious. Here was good wonder. Good step. Okay. I mean, if I had to boil down your ranked matches, it's exactly what I said after our first turn. It's mostly your bad habits that are fucking you over. You need to get rid of those, and then it's also like there's always these one or two matchup specific things that are super common that you're not trying to beat or look out for. I think if you actually accumulated some more matchup knowledge and you actually worked on your bad habits, you could easily get Judy 1, maybe even Judy 2. Oh yeah, that sums up the coaching session. Do you have any questions? I think sometimes, so like he's saying, I will watch the VOD, but can you remind me what moves to use to check instead of Domic 2? You need to keep in mind you don't always have to use your plus frames. Even pro players will just give up their plus frames here and there and not use anything at all. Just let the opponent press and see if they can beat an option here and there. But you don't necessarily want to check... like Domic 2 is not a good checking move at all. If you want to use Domic 2, always keep in mind its main purposes. For one, it's a high crush, and two, it's a counter hit knockdown. So if you have a read on it potentially counter hitting or like going under highs, go for it, use it. But don't use it as a check. So like, if I'm -9 and use Domic 2, Domic 2 is probably the worst move you can use. If you really want to check me, you can use 1-1, you can use down forward for... I don't know, let's say I use 4-4-4 and I try to sidewalk to the right. Oops. You can use 1-1 to check me, you can use down 4-4 to check me. Those moves are perfectly fine as a check. Even a single jab can be nice as a check. Maybe even an electric here and there if you have a hard read. Really depends, but Domic 2, you just use it way too much, that's your issue. So if you really want to use easy checks, the best check you have actually is back 4-2 on its own, and then you can confirm it. It's probably your best checking move. Wie lange machst du noch? Nicht so lang. It's like 1-1 and back 4-2 are great if you use them complementary. Down 4-4 is okay if they're really minus, but you have to be careful with that too, depending on how little minus they can't step it. But yeah, 1-1 and back 4-2 are great, and like they're great complementary checks. What's your mindset in a first to 2 format about risk reward? I think I kind of answered that question in one of my Season 2 videos. I think it's called White Divulgence Suits the Season 2 meta. I recommend watching that. You'll get a lot of insight on my mindset about first to 2s now. Boah, ich würde danach eine kurze Pause machen. Könnt dann danach mitspielen, wenn ihr wollt. Aber direkt nach Tekken-Streams Valorant kracht bei mir immer. Wenn ihr danach noch spielt, gerne. Is it worth to take some risk at the beginning of the set for conditioning purpose? It's a tough question to answer, but personally I think your first move here should always be a hell suit. Unless you played against a player before already. So like, yes, you do risk taking a launch here, but something Season 2 Divulgence allows you to do actually. Let's reverse the rules here, right? I talked about this in my Season 2 video, you should watch it. It will explain a lot of things. If this Divulgence player gets this sweet block here, look how all of his HP becomes grey. almost all of it. So even if he tackles after this, he can still regain all of his health by landing another health sweep, for example. And then essentially the risk never happened. It's like the risk reward is much more in your favor in Season 2 than in Season 1. Ja, alles gut, danke dir. Like at the beginning of a set, you do have to take a risk here and there, but don't overdo it. Like don't let your bad habits take over, and then you need to get information off of these risks you're taking. Okay, I just got my sweep blocked, so you just got the information that he's very willing to duck. Okay, next time I could go for a mid, or I can go for plus frames instead. Don't just necessarily overthink your mix-ups. Mix-ups shouldn't be your only worry. You should be able to condition really well with this character. That's your main goal. But yeah, the gray health theory, I will link you the video I was talking about. It will probably give you a lot of insight on my Season 2 mindset. Like, this character functions very differently from Season 1. That's also why I think he's much stronger than Season 1. Season 2, or like Season 2's system entirely allows this character to shine much more than Season 1. You have everything in the bot, right? You don't need me to send anything else. If so, then I'll probably just conclude the session here. But yeah, I also recommend anyone in the chat right now, watch my YouTube video. It's called Why Devilgen Fits the Season 2 Meta. It explains a lot on my insight on the character right now. Is an average Devilgen player expected to lose often? I think it depends on the way you play. It's like a crazy, go crazy, go stupid Devilgen player that uses a fuck ton of gimmicks and explosive mix-ups will probably win more than the average Devilgen player trying to improve, like with consistent means and stuff. There's a huge difference. Like, if you're trying to learn the game properly and try to learn the character properly, yeah, you're probably going to lose a fuck ton. But if you play like an idiot, you're probably going to win more. That's just how the character works right now, unfortunately. Okay. And I'll conclude the coaching session here. I might do these more often, honestly. It's pretty fun, and people always learn something from it. But yeah, I'll conclude the session here. Informative stream for today. But yeah, feel free to come back for more coaching if you do end up feeling stuck again. But I think you have a lot you can work on right now that will benefit you in the long run if you just keep focusing on what I told you. Yeah, what's your question, Wonder? Be quick with it. I'll think of who I can raid in the meantime. And we might do a Tekken 7 Diligence stream tomorrow. Do lobby replays take over rank match replays? You should have both in your history. Yeah, but if you want to be a successful tournament player, right? This is like, I know this is a bit far-fetched because it's for many it's long into the future, but it doesn't matter. A tournament player will always, like a good tournament player, will always prefer consistency over winning with inconsistent means like gimmicks. Always. A good tournament player. That's why you see pro players pick characters with like consistent poking, consistent combos, consistent damage output in general. And like, Brian used to be, like, Brian is a good example for that. He did not used to be that character. In Tekken 7, his combo, like, the way he got his damage was not necessarily consistent. He didn't really have those pokes, like, consistent moves or whatever. In Tekken 8, it's completely different. He has, like, quarter circle back 1. He has, like, other moves in Heat that are super fucking consistent and easy to use with very little risk. His combos are super consistent and easy now. And that's why he's such a good tournament character. He has insane damage output for little effort. And his neutral is also much more effortless for being much more effective. So like if you play Devilgen tournaments while pressing the fuck out of your gimmicks and whatever and consistently risk your life, yeah, chances are you're not gonna have a lot of success. Exactly. Consistency and fundamentals will always prevail. And that's kind of the thing, right? If you want to improve at the game properly, if you want to learn Devilgen properly, chances are you're gonna lose a lot. But it's gonna be more worth it in the long run. It's kind of what it boils down to. Okay, Houseboy is going for a GOD 4 run, so I'm just gonna rate him. But yeah, this was mostly a I'll probably do this a lot more of like informative coaching streams. The watch should be up, so if you want to rewatch it, feel free. And then tomorrow I'll probably be back with some Tekken 7 Deviljin. Does this mean Deviljin is unviable in tournaments? I did not say that. I do think Deviljin is viable in tournaments, but he's just a bit inconsistent with like finicky combo drops and stuff that you have no control over. I think Deviljin is the most solid he's ever been in this game right now. I think I would even dare say he's underrated, but that's mostly because people keep downplaying the shit out of him. That's the main issue of the character. Deviljin is good right now. Deviljin is really good right now. Season 1 Deviljin, Season 1 Deviljin was just... he was cancer to play, and he was super fucking cancer to fight with the Dominic 1+2 and everything else he had with that homing heat smash and stuff. I'm glad with where Deviljin is right now, despite him still being annoying to fight. He's much more interesting the way he is right now. Okay. Let's rate this carried fuck. Okay. Have a nice evening or whatever time it is for you right now, guys. I'll see you probably tomorrow. Bye-bye.